I'd like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting at December 19th, 2024 at 6 p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for roll call, please.
Mayor Gunter.
Here.
Clerk Simsky's here. Trustee Barker.
He's absent tonight. He's sick.
Trustee Barrett.
Here.
Trustee Guzzo.
Here.
Trustee Little.
Here.
Trustee Nero.
Here. All right. Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody. We got a full agenda, so we'll turn to the report. Anybody here for open forum? If nobody's here, okay, we'll close open forum, move on to reports. I have a couple. Chief's already walking up. I'm going to invite the police chief, Jim Gunther, up here. He's got some exciting news, and he brought reinforcement with you.
It's a tough crowd, so I had to bring some backup. Good evening, Mayor. We are very excited to present. We have two presentations for this evening, starting with Special Olympics Illinois. The 2024 campaign has come to a close. Looking forward to 2025, but we'd like to report yet another record-breaking year. So we have the check to present and, pictures and whatnot. So just a little background on Special Olympics Illinois. Special Olympics transforms the lives of people with intellectual disabilities, allowing them to realize their full potential in sports and in life. Special Olympics programs enhance physical fitness, motor skills, self-confidence, social skills, and encourage family and community support. This global organization that unleashes the human spirit through the transformative power and joy of sport every day around the world. And here in Illinois, Special Olympics Illinois supports over 18,000 athletes, 2,600 young athletes, and 31,000 coaches and volunteers. So with that, we have a couple numbers I want to talk about. One is since 2015, when Deputy Chief Gruen was the coordinator of Special Olympics Illinois for Westmont Police Department, up until current, so for the last 10 years, we have raised over $211,000 for Special Olympics. And if you're rudimentary math like myself, that's about a $20,000 a year average. But this year, we raised $57,114.26.
Wow. Holy cow.
So I will have Sergeant Weibler, our Special Olympics Illinois coordinator, come up for a couple remarks as well.
And again, this is the only fundraiser we do. The police department does. They do a great job of raising money.
All right, I am truly honored to stand here on another year to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you in this incredible village and community. Together, like Chief said, we've raised over $57,000 from the $45,000 that we raised last year. The achievement is a testament to our community's generosity, compassion, and dedication. It's not just about the dollars raised, it's about the lives you've touched, the smiles you've inspired, and the opportunities you've opened for so many athletes. The impact of this fundraising effort will ripple through the countless lives, providing athletes with the resources, encouragement, and platform they need to thrive. You've shown what it means to come together, to lift each other up, and to be a source of support and empowerment for our Special Olympic athletes. Whether you donated, volunteered, spread the word, or simply showed to support a cause at one of our many events that Chief mentioned, your contribution matters. It's a long-lasting difference, and every penny of the $57,000 will go directly to help these remarkable athletes achieve their dreams, challenges, limits, and feel the joy of competition and inclusion. I want to say a thank you to our I want to say a special thank you to our local businesses, volunteers, friends, and all individuals who have worked so hard to make this happen. Your commitment and hard work made this success possible. On behalf of Special Olympic, their athletes, the families, and everyone involved, thank you. You've helped create a community that believes in inclusion, in possibility, and in the power of the sport to bring us all together. We are beyond grateful as a police department, and we cannot wait to see the incredible things that they do from this generosity. Thank you once again for everything you guys have done to the village, and we look forward to next year.
Great.
The Comptons were supposed to be here with Aaron. I don't know if the weather has had any sort of implications on them getting here. But she was supposed to be here present to
She's
speak.
pointing
She
to the
come perfect
elevator.
timing.
Is this the first year of the golf?
Talk about making an entrance.
Yeah, right?
Second year of the golf.
Since you've done so well, it's a 10-year commitment, right?
Get it open.
You're doing this for 10 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get a couple of big corporate guys.
No, the golf outing we're still doing everything else we've done.
So in some of the events, and I don't know
She is.
if the chief mentioned it or not in the beginning, but the golf outing, Cop on Top, we do a shred event twice a year. There she is.
What happened?
Aaron, come on up. We'll get you right up here right away.
And who is this now? You can introduce her?
So this is Erin Compton. She's a Special Olympic athlete and,
Global Messenger.
yes, so she goes around and speaks on behalf of the Special Olympics. She's also a local resident. Her father, Greg Compton, used to be a police officer here at the village, and wife Diane is also here.
She can come.
So with that, I'll give you the stage.
You can come around and video over here if you want. Let Greg see. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much for all of your support over the past 10 years. Westmont Police Department is awesome, and my dad is stiff. He came out of surgery a month ago, but still part of the Westmont Torchman family. When I was 10 years old, I became a Special Olympics Global Messenger. I got really good speech training from Special Olympics and got to practice speaking in public. My favorite being speaking with all of you because of the training and practice I had the opportunity to testify at the Senate Executive Committee as a proponent in favor of HB 793, Dignity in Pay. This bill eliminates sub-minimum wage for people with disabilities. I have a huge announcement to make. The HB 793, Dignity in Pay, had passed the Senate committee. And on its way to the governor's desk. 2 senators told me they were on the fence about the HB 793, but my testimony helped them make their dreams, make up their minds. Thank you for all of your support over the years. I was in the room where it happened. When you support Special Olympics, you are helping citizens with disabilities advocate for themselves. Thank you so much for all you do for the athletes of Special Olympics. Thank you.
Thank you. You are a great global messenger. You do a great job. You want to
We're going to come bring the big fat check up here.
Wow, look at that.
Mayor, you want to come up? You know to come up.
Yeah. 57 and change. All
Need a
right,
doorway over there.
man.
Right here. 1, 2, 3, and we got a few more.
Got another one behind you.
That's all right.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Everyone knows Greg Compton used to be a sergeant with the Westmont Police Department, and that uniform would not pass inspection.
We're only 5 days out of surgery, so we're making some really
Doing good.
strides.
Good to see you, Greg.
Good seeing you. Happy holidays to you all.
Thank you.
Okay, second presentation, we have, we'd like to present our ILEAP accreditation award for this past 4 years. So ILEAP stands for Illinois Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. And as you know, we were last accredited by ILEAP in July of 2020 and by the Illinois Accreditation Council. Some of the members of that council are the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police, of which we have 2 representatives here tonight. Intergovernmental Risk Management Agency, so IRMA, which we're a member of, and Northwestern University Center for Public Safety, which is also where we send our supervisors for command level training through staff, police staff and command. The process is rigorous. We are Tier 2 recipients, which is passing 181 standards. Tier 1 by comparison is 69 standards, so we strive for, as much as we can as far as what we can do from accreditation standpoints. Some of the things that are required are a file review, prove that we do what we say that we do, and then an on-site assessment where accreditation managers come to the police department and check, physically check everything that we do. I'd like to introduce our 2 guests tonight. We have Chief Baton from the Lamont Police Department and Chief Dorn from the Elk Grove Village Police Department, also formerly of my hometown of Barrington, where he was the police chief there for 10 years. Chief Dorn has been in Elk Grove Village for, hired on April Fool's Day. Yeah. It was interesting. So Chief Baton is a former state trooper, retiring as a colonel, and now is with Lamont. I'd like to, have these opportunities very often, but I would like to say for Chief Baton, I know he's getting antsy ready to come up here, but I can say, when the Safety Act was passed several years ago, I came before the board on numerous occasions talking about how bad the language was and how what a detriment to law enforcement that first iteration of that bill was, and Chief Baton was one of the few law enforcement leaders at the table to work on the subsequent trailer bills, and it's a testament to his willingness to volunteer and to represent all of Illinois law enforcement, which really put that bill and the Safety Act to where it needed to be. So, I mean, he's a chief in Lamont, but he certainly advocated for the residents of Westmont and, all of Illinois. So with that, I will introduce both of them up to the podium.
Thanks, Jim. Although, I don't think I want to follow her. With me is Dave Dorn from Elk Grove Village. Dave's on our executive board. I'm the current president of the Illinois Chiefs, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight to assist in the award of the accreditation. So, Mayor Gunter, Village Manager May, it's my privilege to join you this evening to present Westmont with the Tier 2 Illinois it's a reaccreditation award. As Jim said, you guys have been through this before, but all accredited departments must undergo reaccreditation every 4 years to ensure that the departments are in compliance with the current standards. And as many of you know, and we deal with every day, our laws are constantly changing, and not always for the better. And the law enforcement profession continues to evolve along with the policies and procedures and best practices to be reaccredited. We started this accreditation program about 10 years ago as a way to help departments demonstrate to their communities an unwavering commitment to achieve the highest professional standards. There's only 61 accredited agencies in Illinois right now. And he mentioned some of the agencies we partner with, but in addition, we partner with the Illinois City and County Management Association, the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority, and the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board, among the other ones that he had mentioned earlier, who are part of our ILEAP Accreditation Council. It's a program that's designed to be a administrative bulletproof vest. This administrative armor was designed to reduce risk and liability, to serve as a catalyst to professionalize the industry. It's really a demonstration to the board and to the community that the department is following national best practices on policies and procedures, and the auditing process that they have just undergone through tests whether the department is operating in compliance with the standards that they set for themselves. There's a lot of benefits to accreditation: improved police effectiveness, identification of problem areas, the development of documentation of performance, decreased insurance premiums, decreased liability potential, which I'm sure all of you like, and most importantly, demonstration to the community that the police department runs a state-of-the-art operation. To achieve it, as Jim said, they had to demonstrate compliance with 181 professional standards and 4 critical policy areas, which were administration, operations, personnel, and training. It requires a department-wide commitment to organizational excellence. So Chief Gunther and his team, led by Sergeant Mike Weebler, and does Mike come on back up? They spent several months preparing for assessors to review the department's policies, procedures, and reports, and I know it's stressful as they go through that. They also had assessors come on site for 2 days, observe the members of the police department, conduct interviews. Some of you probably were part of those interviews. They participated in ride-alongs and did a lot of community engagement. This third-party review ensures that the accredited organizations actually do what they say they're going to do, and that's to serve and protect their communities according to the highest professional standards. So once accredited again, they'll remain so for another 4 years. So on behalf of the Illinois Chiefs of Police, congratulations to Chief Gunther and Sergeant Weibler and the entire Westmont Department on achieving Tier 2 accreditation for ILEAP. I'm going to present this to the guy who actually did all the work. So why don't we come up front and just take some pictures again.
Chief Riley said you did it to keep up with the fire department.
Could be true. She's more pushed.
Yeah.
It's not often that the mayor's not the tallest person in the room.
You got a tall crew here.
Again, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations again, folks.
Thanks for coming out.
Money man and the, thank you. Thank you.
See you in 4 years.
Just real quick, it's important to note that this is an entire team effort. Behind this achievement is not just the police officers in the field, but our entire support staff, who play an absolutely critical role in ensuring our department's success. From administrative personnel to those who assist in records, training, technology, and policy development, each has contributed to this achievement in a meaningful way. My records coordinator, Natalie Mahalik, was instrumental in making sure that everything was organized and checking my work twice before we got it to the position of the actual review. So I wanted to make sure she was recognized. She did a great job. And over the next 4 years, it should be even more seamless because I have her in my corner. So Thank you very much.
Thank you. Chief, you got anything else? I'm good, thank you. All right. I'll move on. I got a couple things that I'm going to introduce my guest tonight. The adjusted village board meeting schedule. Due to the holidays, the next village board meeting is scheduled for January the 9th. The entire 2025 meeting schedule has been published on our website. I want to thank everyone who coordinated and participated in the holidays parade. We had the tree lighting and pictures with Santa. The water infrastructure needs and rate increases. Tonight, the village will continue the discussion regarding water infrastructure needs and corresponding rate increases to pay for these updates. All the information has been posted on our village website. And at this point, I don't know if I should say ex-president, our executive director for
Immediate
years,
past president.
Larry Forsberg, to come to the podium.
It is my honor to introduce myself as the past president of the Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau. Good evening, Mayor and Village Board members. As everyone knows, during the past year, the Westmont Chamber of Commerce has gone through a very extensive search for a new chamber president. We had 236 individuals apply for this position, which translated into many phone interviews and many Zoom interviews, and a small number of face-to-face interviews, because when it came right down to it, there was really only a handful of people that truly qualified for this position. And I'm proud to introduce tonight the selection of the Westmont Chamber of Commerce, Kylie Harding. Kylie, would you come up and join me, please? She'll introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her background and a little bit about her vision for the chamber. Please give her a warm Westmont welcome.
Mr. Mayor and the Village Board, it's my honor to be here tonight. I'm super excited to be part of the Westmont Area Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Tourism Bureau, which I've never had the honor to run a tourism bureau before, so this is a new feat for me. I spent 6 years as the president of the Schaumburg Business Association in Schaumburg, Illinois, and I grew that organization from when I stepped in $60,000 in debt to a little over $200,000 in net cash reserves when I left at 6 years later, and went from 400 members to almost 800 members when I left. So we were able to really grow and double the size of the organization. And I did that through, I think, how I see my role is to be the chief networker, which is someone that I think is needed for a chamber of commerce, to go out and network and find ways for businesses to connect with other businesses. And that's something that I plan to do here in Westmont as well. And I just really want to give a very sincere appreciation to Larry for all of his work. I know that it's got to be a very hard job to find your successor, but I think that he led that role for the organization and has done a really good job on making sure that he found someone that was really committed in the way that he has been committed. One of the things that I can guarantee you is my heart is in this role. My heart is going to be here for Westmont, and I will do my very best to make sure that we leave this as a very, very strong business community, and a community that people want to feel proud of, to grow their business in, and to bring business in for the community. I also would like to invite you all to join us on January 29th at NEAT for our annual meeting on January 29th. I'd love to have you all there and be present. We'll be talking a lot more then about plans for 2025 and into the future. One of the first things that I'm doing as part of my 30, 60, 90-day plan is to come up with a SWOT analysis for the chamber that we then can use as the start of a strategic survey or strategic plan for the Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau. So I'd love to be able to come back in the future and talk to you guys about the findings of that and let you know how we're doing and the direction we're headed at that point. But thank you guys for letting me come and speak tonight. It's been really exciting to be here this past week. It's been a really busy week, but I've had the pleasure to meet almost everyone in this room before, and it's really nice to see you again tonight, and thank you so much.
Welcome. All right, Trustee Barker is absent. I'll give his report real quick. The Environmental Improvement Committee, the EIC meetings have moved to the library. Starting in January, EIC will be meeting at the library on the first Monday of each month, 5:30 p.m. There will be guest speakers in 2025, so the library will be a good venue to accommodate more public participation. Holiday lights recycling. Residents can still drop off unwanted or broken lights until January 31st. Again, 2 locations, at the library or the fire department headquarters. Holiday tree pickup, December 26th to January 31st. Put out your tree to be composted during time. Trees must be free of all decorations. So we want to make sure we mention that. And that's all he had, and I'll move on to Clerk Simsky.
I just have a couple of announcements. The village office is closed. Village offices will be closed to the public on the following dates: December 24th and 25th, January 1st, and January 20, 2025.
Thank you. And we're going to, Trustee Little, Administration Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. We did have an Administration Finance Committee meeting here tonight. We had a very exciting promotion in the fire department of Stephanie Grimm to captain. She was pinned by her daughter and her son. We also had a GIS update from the tech department here, and it's a very interactive GIS system that we're working with. We had a representative from Baxter Woodman talk to us and show us a little bit more about the depths of the maps availability and the opportunity for our employees as needed to create updated maps for their department uses. The ease of use of identifying and measuring is really exciting, and it's also less expensive to do this that way than to go through a full-time employee. So, and I was very excited. They've got a topographical layer in there, and that means a lot. That resonates with me. We also had a technical review committee discussion, and that we'll be working on a new committee for next year. And this will be kicking off soon. We'll have a little bit more information. It might have a new name to it. And then last but not least, we did have a personnel policy update. We talked about 2024 being a very busy year. We had 22 policies in administration that were changing and 7 legislative policies that changed. So that kept us kind of busy this evening. In addition to that, the village has a new credit card payment processor for online bill payments, and details have been posted on the village website. And then last but not least, business registrations for 2025 will be emailed soon to business license holders. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Barry.
I don't have anything this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Wish everybody
Happy and a safe holidays. Hopefully everyone has a safe holidays. Be extra safe. That's what I would
Thank
suggest.
you. Trustee Johanna Guzzo, Fire Public.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I do want to congratulate Stephanie Grimm on her promotion to captain. It's always very nice to see when we've got promotions that are going on. The next Fire Public Safety Committee meetings, 2025 meetings are as follows: March 6th, May 29th, August 21st, and November 13th. They're 4:30 here in Village Hall. Everyone is welcome to attend. Next, keeping with our holiday theme, keep the wreath red. Now through January 2nd, residents are encouraged to be extra vigilant with fire safety. Fire safety information has been posted on the website. If you notice, at both of our fire stations, there are wreaths on the front of the buildings. There are red bulbs in those wreaths. If for any reason a fire is caused by a holiday decoration, that red bulb will be taken out and replaced with the white one. So please, let's keep those wreaths red. And then also, toy collection. The Westmont Fire Department is participating in the Toy Express toy and book collection. Toys and books can be dropped off at either fire location. Thank you, Mayor, and that's all I have.
Well, thank you, and I'll go over here to Trustee Nero.
Thank you, Mayor.
Works.
Just a few things tonight. Our next Public Works Committee meeting is March 20th, so we got a while for that next one.
I did want to just thank the Public Works team again. Those holiday lights look wonderful, so if you enjoy them, get out there at dark time. It really does look nice downtown. As the mayor said, the parade was beautiful, and nothing but compliments, so thank you to everybody that helped with that. Our next community development meeting is scheduled January 23rd, and will include a big update from our annual permit and code enforcement report. So we're looking forward to that next year. And our next Plan and Zoning Commission meeting is January 8th of next year as well. And a special congrats to the Chamber on the Winter Ball. I know many of us were there. It was a great event. So always nice to be there. And last but certainly not least, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. We'll move on to something that occurs on our agenda every December. Public hearing. The first one, A, property tax levy hearing for the Village of Westmont. Board to consider a public hearing regarding the property tax levy for the Village of Westmont. Finance Director Alton. After you make the presentation, I'll open it up to the public if anybody's here to comment on it.
Thank you, Mayor. So at our November 14th Village Board meeting, the Village Board did approve a motion establishing the aggregate tax levy for the 2024 tax levy at $11,010,882. Looking at the chart, it's the 2024 proposed extension. It's that number there. And I do want to point out for the public that this portion is just the public discussion, public hearing, and then later on tonight, under the new business, the Village Board will consider the actual tax levy ordinance for approval. One thing I want to point out is the village's tax levy is made up of 8 or even 9 line items, with that 9th line item being the special service area at Liberty Park. The 8 line items represent the village's IMRF, employee retirement benefits, police pension, risk liability insurance, Social Security, Medicare, ambulance and fire service, and also on behalf of the library includes the library's tax levy as well for library services. The proposed tax levy for 2024 represents a 4.9% change over last year's levy, which is right under the truth and taxation amounts. We'll point out when the dust settles, when the PTEL limits are applied by state statute, when all the dust settles, the village will probably receive somewhere around 3.7% increase. That includes the CPI, which is already set by the state, that inflationary index, which is at 3.4%, and also includes a value for new construction, which will probably be somewhere in that $2 or $3 million range. Looking at what the township assessor for Downers Grove is, some of their figures, they're suggesting that it could be $2 million. Usually their numbers are a little bit off from when everything actually settles with DuPage County. So $2 to $3 million is a good estimate for what that new construction value will be. So when everything settles, probably around 3.7% increase for next year. So what does this impact?
Growth doesn't include the TIF districts.
Correct.
So all those new buildings you won't see in the growth. Go ahead.
Right. And so what does this all mean for the average taxpayer? According to the Census Bureau, the median household property value is a little over $362,000. So what does that mean for their tax bill? It's about a $38 increase for next year. Historically, the village has been around 11% of the typical resident's tax bill. Similar representation is expected for this next tax year as well. The last thing that I wanted to point out is property values in the area are increasing. In conversations with both Downers Grove Township Assessor's Office and also York Township. I know a very small sliver is in York Township. All are expecting property values to go up between 8 and 9% for next year. So when you factor all that in, and you can see on the chart where the property tax rates are expected to go down next year compared to last year. So the village is the .7511 is likely what's expected compared to last year, the .7825. So we're seeing declines in that property tax rate. That's all I have for this portion.
We're 8 or 9% of your tax bills, the village.
11%.
11, oh, we went up.
That's
School districts in the 70s.
School districts, the vast majority.
Yes. Yes. And at this point, I'll open up public hearing. Anybody here? Seeing none, I'll close public hearing and ask the trustees if they have any questions. Seeing none, we'll move on to Part B, Property Tax Levy Hearing, Village of Westmont Special Service Area 2. Board to conduct a public hearing regarding the property tax levy for the Village of Westmont Special Service Area 2. Director.
Thank you. So the village provides fire and ambulance services to the unincorporated Liberty Park neighborhood. The proposed levy for the 2024 tax cycle is $112,507. And just like we heard before, this is a 4.9% increase. Last thing I wanted to point out is that property tax rate is expected to be associated with this tax levy mirrors very similar to the village's expected tax rate for ambulance and fire service. That's all I have for now.
Anybody here? Public hearing is open. I'll close public hearing. Any questions? I think you
I just
explained.
wanted to add, when he said that it was mirroring it, the whole point of going into this was to get it closer to what the residents pay for the same service.
Yeah. And again, nothing needs to be done right now, so thank you.
Yep.
Moving on. Anybody see any items they want removed from the consent agenda? If not, I'm going to...
Question in regard to one, should I have it removed or just question at the end?
Yeah, if you want something removed, to talk about it separately, or you can question it once we pass the motion.
Okay, I'll just question it.
You'll wait it then. And I'd ask Manager May to read the consent agenda. It's long.
Thank you. First item on the consent agenda is the village board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the village board meeting held December 5, 2024. Next is finance ordinance number 17 in the amount of $1,882,157.60. We have 3 purchase orders. First one is Gordon Flesh Company, $43,216. This represents the annual, it says annual monthly, it's a monthly lease, but this is the annual amount. And when I say that, it's actually for 8 months, so we're bringing it back in cycle with our fiscal year change too. But it's the copier lease payments covering 13 printers, copiers for the time period of April 2024 through to November 2024. Tyler Technologies, $81,920.76. This is the village-wide ERP, the Enterprise Resource Program for annual licensing and support through 2025, for 2025. Third purchase order, Axon Enterprises Incorporated, $119,075.87. This represents several things that are in a bundle. It's a lot of camera surveillance stuff in the interview room, squad car video, and it also represents a taser lease. This is the 4th payment in a 5-year contract previously approved. Those 3 purchase orders total $244,212.63. Total of the purchase orders with finance ordinance number 17 is $2,126,370.23. And we have some special events. First one being Westmont Winter Beer Festival. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from the Westmont Park District for the 2025 Winter Beer Festival to be held on February 15, 2025 at Time Warner Park. First is a community event permit. It's always pending staff review and approval. Temporary liquor license fee waiver, tent fee waiver, food truck permit fee waivers. They still apply for the permits, it's just the associated fees for the Westmont Beer Festival. Next, request from WSCC is the 2025 Westmont Cruisin' Nights and Street Fair. Board to consider an ordinance approving the following requests from the Westmont Special Events Corporation for their 2025 Cruisin' Nights and Street Fair events. This includes tent permit fee waiver, live amplified sound permit for event hours, and street and public right-of-way closures, of which I'll come back to that. The last item on the consent agenda is also a special event, 2025 Taste of Westmont. Board to consider approving the ordinance approving the following requests from the Westmont Special Events Corporation for the 2025 Taste of Westmont. Special event liquor license, amusement license fee waiver, tent permit fee waiver, food truck fee waiver, light amplified sound permit for event hours, and street and public right-of-way closures. These items are on, the two special events are on the consent agenda, and anything on the consent agenda, when it's a recurring event, returns to the consent agenda, and we talked about these two special events at a meeting, last meeting, about alterations to it, but this approval tonight represents exactly duplicating the way it's been in the past years, and I don't know if that's...
Well, if it was changed, it would be on the agenda as far as new business.
Yeah, it would be a new business item if we altered the event substantively, like move it. So this represents a request. That doesn't mean we're still work towards fine tuning it. We had that healthy discussion last time, but this represents duplicating what we historically do there.
Do you have a motion to approve as read?
Motion to approve is read. Little.
Second, Nero.
Motion been made and second. Question, Trustee Barry.
I believe Manager May just
answered.
seemed that, because last meeting, it was limbo, and then, John, I know you sent the agreements over today, so I was just questioning if clearly that's been cleared up in the past. And then, lastly, on the Beer Fest, and I know, Manager May, I mentioned this to you as a citizen last year, but they advertise at the Black Hawk Park, which is adjacent to a school, and that is one thing that I thought we could maybe improve upon, because this big banner is, the Beer Fest, and then it's a school. And I think, Manager, you came back and said that there was no stipulations in the ordinance about advertising liquor that close to a school. But I know when we sell it and other things, we do put that stipulation there. But now that it's out front, I just would like to mention it now, because, again, I noticed it every day going to the school, and I don't know that that's the message the Park District or us
There's
wants to send.
actual, of course, legal requirements about the actual sale of alcohol, a certain radius from the school, but it's also park property, and it's a park event, so they are permitted to advertise it. I passed it along last time, and I'll make sure they know this time as well.
Just in good taste. If it's not a rule, just maybe in good taste.
Yes.
I agree.
Good point. And that's James Long Park. It just was
Yes, I'm
renamed.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
We all call it Black Hawk Twin Lakes, but it's been renamed.
That whole subdivision could be James Long
That's
subdivision,
right.
really. That is such a big influence out there, for sure.
Any other comments? Anybody? I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
I did want to add one thing to your
Motion
comments.
passes.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
The motion passes, and I said it was a repeated event, but that doesn't preclude us from working on adjustments and fine tuning. So anything that deviates from this approval will come back if it's needed, but I'll keep you informed anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, moving on to new business. The first item is my appointment for trustee. Board to consider a motion confirming the mayor's appointment of Matthew Scales to fill the open trustee position. Again, what I like about my appointment, hopefully the board will approve it, is that we're getting someone who's been involved in P&Z, understands what it takes to be a trustee, and willingness to be a trustee. So as you see, it's got to get the younger people for Nero in here. So, at this point, I'd ask, Matt, you want to come up and just say a little bit about yourself? And
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, village trustees. Matt Scales, I've been a resident since 2014 with my family. My two daughters have all gone through the elementary school, both through junior high. One is in 8th grade. We have one in high school. We try to keep ourselves involved as much as possible. As the mayor mentioned, I've served 5 years on the Planning and Zoning Commission, some with Trustee Barry. Had some good relationships. Some of you I know, some of you I don't. It's nice to meet you here tonight. And currently also involved with the Westmont High School Boosters, which has been fun for the last year, serving as treasurer, which I don't know why they chose me for that. I don't have a mathematical background, but it's easy plug and play. The Planning and Zoning Commission has been a great experience. Seen a lot of fun projects come through, some that I know are still in the works, and looking forward to continuing efforts and being involved. And if you'll have me, I look forward to serving with you guys on the board. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have here tonight and talk through anything.
The appointment is to fill Amy Lee's position till May 1st. Does anybody have any questions?
You know where you have to sit, right?
Yeah, right in the middle. Well, assuming we get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little.
Motion made and second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
You'll be,
All right.
January 9th, we'll officially swearing in.
But he can't say no now, though. That's it, it's done.
So,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
New business B, Westmont Center lease agreement. Board to consider ordinance approving a Westmont Center lease for Illinois State Representative Martha Dorter. Is that close enough?
Yeah. Marty Deuter is our newly elected representative in the Illinois House, District 45. We have office space for outgoing Representative Jen Laddish Douglas, who did not rerun this term. Ms. Deuter was elected and interested in the space in Westmont Center. Their terms are 2 years, and this lease, which is actually a state of Illinois document, represents our relationship as, to keep that representation, a tenant in what's otherwise a village-owned building.
Yeah, and we've been fortunate that when the building was built, that was the intent, to have our representatives. We had Patty Bellock and Kurt Diller here for years. That may be changing, but in the second floor, one side's vacant. We're not looking for a tenant right now, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the lease agreement.
Motion to approve, Little.
Second Guzzo.
Motion been made in second. Comments? Anybody? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business C, intergovernmental agreement with DuPage County. Board to consider an ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Westmont and DuPage County to promote regional tourism. Manager May.
Thank you. This is a kind of a three-party agreement with the DuPage County, who through I'll just call it an economic development incentive or a tourism incentive, has made available $50,000 of ARPA funding to promote activity at the FMC Natatorium. We already have our relationship with that and how we administer other funds like the DuPage CVB. So this agreement allows us to do the administration of the $50,000 grant that we get from DuPage County for those purposes.
And I have to thank Trustee Nero for staying in the ear of county board members to get this for us. And Brian Kozuski is a big supporter of the natatorium. So this is money we can use to promote it. Do I have a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement?
Motion approved, Nero.
Second, Barry.
Motion made, second. Any comments?
Just quick, and I would also add member Carrie Galassi to that list too. She was instrumental, and really it was unanimous. I said it, I think, last time or something, but it's bipartisan support for that natatorium. Everybody wants to make it better. It impacts all of DuPage, and I think this is the first of more to come. So let's keep that going, and keep, showing that return on investment, and I think the county will continue to support it.
Good. Great thing to have. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business D, property tax levy for the Village of Westmont. Board to consider ordinance adopting the 2024 property tax levy for the Village of Westmont. Director Altek.
Thank you. Earlier tonight, we held a public discussion regarding the property tax levy. The 2024 village tax levy, including the library, is a grand total of $10,898,375. And once again, this is a 4.9% increase over the prior year. If anybody has any questions for me?
I think this is an annual event. It had to be filed by what, the second or third?
Is required to be filed by the last Tuesday.
Fourth Tuesday in December. Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Guzzo.
Second Little?
Motion made and second. Any additional comments from the library? If not, roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on. Stay up there, Director. Property tax levy, Special Service Area 2. Board to consider ordinance adopting 2024 property tax levy for the Village of Westmont Special Service Area 2. Director.
Once again, we held earlier a open discussion on this item. The proposed tax for the 2024 cycle for the special service area is $112,507. Once again, similar to the other one, this is a 4.9% increase over the prior levy. And once again, the tax rate that's expected out of this closely mirrors or matches that for ambulance and fire services of the village. If anyone has any questions on this, I can answer them.
Anybody make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Guzzo.
Second, Barry.
Motion made, Barry beat it. Motion been made and second. Any comments from seeing none? Roll call. Go ahead, trustee.
As a guy who's late to the game, you really brought me up to speed on everything in the last couple of meetings, so I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roll call.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll go on to F, abatement of taxes. This is also an annual event. Board to consider ordinance abating taxes heretofore levied for the 2023 property tax cycle to pay debt service on the general obligation bonds. One, these are all alternate revenue sources, Series 2017, it's general obligation bonds. Series 2019A, general obligation bonds. Series 2019B is general obligation refunding bonds, and Series 2022, and it's general refunding bonds. Series 2022B of the Village of Westmont, DuPage, Illinois. So, Director.
Sure. I could ask Brian to. So this is sort of the opposite of what we just did. We just approved the tax levy to assess new taxes for the year. This is sort of the opposite of that. We're informing DuPage County not to levy certain property taxes. So under law, the village's alternate revenue bonds, which have both the backing of pledged revenues, which are identified as the paying source on the chart, have the backing of not only the pledged revenues, but also a property tax component to it as well. And since it has that property tax backing, DuPage County will automatically, on their own, assess a property tax to pay for that debt service for the village. And so the total debt service on these alternate revenue bonds for next year is $2,365,613. So basically what we're saying, we're telling DuPage County, these paying resources, these pledged revenues are sufficient to pay for the debt service, which they are, and we don't need the property tax backing. Please don't levy it, cancel it out. So that's what this ordinance is authorizing DuPage County to do,
And
is
it's
not
an
to levy
annual
that
event.
automatic.
Yeah, it's an annual event because we use alternate revenue bonds. And we're, all the debt retirements from revenue that we generate in a year. So this is an annual event. Do I have a motion to approve the,
Motion to approve, Little?
Second Guzzo.
motion been made and second. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to new business G, re-subdivision consolidation of land. Board to consider an ordinance approving request from the Village of Westmont related to the re-subdivision of land generally located in the northeast corner of North Cass Avenue and East Burlington Street in Westmont, Illinois, for the following. 1, preliminary plan and final plat of subdivision to consolidate 6 lots parcels into 1. 2, postponement of certain requirements of the Land Development Code regarding posting of security payment for open space areas and designating, installing certain required land improvements until development of the newly created lots. And I know Manager May had
Well, just to introduce it.
To P and Z with this.
Yeah, the opening sentence was, it's a request by the Village of Westmont to the Village of Westmont to approve this subdivision. So as owners of the property on the northeast corner at Cass and Burlington, today visually, there's a parking lot that sits on several parcels, and most everybody knows that we were acquired the property to the east of that were commercial, Harrelson's Garage, and a strip mall. So all of those put together, we want to move where the public right-of-ways are and consolidate what's left into one single lot. And that's the request of the village, and then I did, as owner representative, attended planning and zoning to do that.
You raked them over the
Let Joe
coals.
cover that.
Did get raked over the coals
Yeah.
by the commission, not me.
Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Board. So what's before us tonight is basically the creation of a lot. As we all know, that for quite some time, the village has owned multiple properties, had control over lots of the rights-of-way that are out there. And what we're doing here is we're moving forward with defining the lot so that we can start figuring out where the utilities need to lie and where the utilities need to go. And also get it a bit more development ready, because when we are approached by developers, they want to know what the constraints are when they look at building something there. So that's what we're doing tonight. So the second piece of that is the postponement of required land improvements. So our land development code was written and designed for developers. And the village wanted to make sure that we never approved a subdivision or consolidation of property unless we knew that there were guarantees for the public improvements that needed to be done. So because the village is not necessarily doing all the public improvements right now that are attributed to this, a lot will be determined when a project comes in. There's a postponement of that. So basically, our code was not designed for when the village needs to work with its own pieces of property and tries to do that. And I can answer any questions you might have.
Just to qualify that a little bit, it's just permission to delay it, but we do have some public improvements scheduled as, hopefully, as soon as next spring.
What was the vote on P and Z?
It was a unanimous vote, positive recommendation.
Great presentation, probably, right?
Yes, very excellent presentation.
And
A+.
I'm familiar with the system. I'm familiar with the, I was up there and I spoke to it and I had all the confidence, but there is something truly intimidating about standing there and speaking to that. So I appreciate other applicants and how, when they describe how they feel nervous about going through it, and
Attorney Zemanek.
Just point out that in addition to postponing certain required land improvements, public improvements, it also postpones the requirement to post like a letter of credit or bond to secure those public improvements, and also to pay impact fees at this time. Once a developer comes in, they'll be responsible for doing that.
Yep. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion made and second. Any comments? Anybody? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business H, zoning ordinance text amendment. Board to consider ordinances approving a request from the Village of Westmont regarding a zoning ordinance text amendment regarding multiple family density in the R4 and R5 zoning districts as follows. 1, zoning ordinance text amendment to section 6.04A4 bulk and development standards in residence districts regarding minimal lot area for multifamily dwellings in the R5 general residence district. And 2, zoning ordinance text amendment to section 6.04A4 bulk and development standards in residence districts regarding minimum lot area for multifamily dwellings in the R4 general residence district. Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Board. So if you remember, we spoke to density at the November CDC meeting. Now, we did vary a little bit from the recommendation that was made there. So we talked about our R4 and R5 districts. Those are our multifamily districts. And we talked about how they were deficient, not only in comparison to what our old codes were, which was pre-1986, but to what other communities were allowing in their districts. Basically, we reduced our density in those areas and made those districts essentially the same. So even though we call them R4 and R5, they're essentially the same. The recommendation from the CDC was that it was comfortable to pursue that in the R5 district, specifically because there was a lot of R5 property along the tracks. After some internal discussion, and we thought that maybe the board might see it a little bit differently, we did want to publish for both the R4 and the R5. And so why did staff do that? Well, the R5 district that we were looking at along the tracks is proposed to be rezoned eventually to a more downtown residential type of district with our zoning ordinance rewrite. So the modification of the R5 probably would be short-lived and not necessarily benefit the area along the tracks the way that maybe the CDC was thinking. We do have a lot of R4 properties, and by a lot, there's not a lot. We have a lot of R4 properties that are scattered throughout the village, although most of them are developed. But most of Cass Avenue north of town is zoned R4, and that's a large area that is fairly undeveloped. And then we do have some single-family homes on the south side of town that's R4, and I don't necessarily know that we anticipate to see development down there, but it would be much harder to kind of compile those properties into larger developments because you'd have to acquire lots of homes. So we did have that discussion at Planning and Zoning and published for it just in case the board felt differently tonight. Planning and Zoning actually felt that we weren't even going far enough. So what we are proposing is going back to the densities that we had pre-1986, which actually aren't as high as some of our neighboring communities for what they allow in those. And they said they would have supported something higher. That would take more research, so anything that we pass tonight gets us in a much better place, but probably not quite to what other communities are doing. And we can always look more in depth with that, with the zoning ordinance rewrite. But actually, my recommendation would be is that after we get through the zoning ordinance rewrite, we're going to look at the comprehensive plan again. And I think the comprehensive plan can be the guiding document to where we want to see more multifamily if it is to develop, so that we can target areas closer to the downtown, but outside of the downtown. So that's where I see those initial changes. So Planning and Zoning made positive unanimous recommendations on both of these.
And then we did separate them out, so you can do separate considerations for those, just in case the board still feels that only the R5 is what we want to address tonight. And I'll answer any
Two
questions you
motions,
may have.
one to approve the first item. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
Second. Any comments? Anybody? No? Roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Barry.
I'm going to abstain from voting.
You're abstaining? Okay. Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
I got to vote yes.
The mayor, get,
My fifth time. Isn't it? Yeah, big time. Yep. We'll go to number 2. It needs also a motion to approve the text amendment.
Motion to approve Guzzo.
Second, Little?
Motion been made and second. Any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Little,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Barry.
I'm also going to abstain from part 2.
I think this is my 6th time, yes. Yes. All right, motion passes. We'll move on the agenda to I. Parkway Tree Pruning Program. Board to consider ordinance authorizing the Village of to exercise the first option year of the contract with Winkler Services LLC for Parkway Tree Pruning Program. Director Reese.
So in 2023, we awarded the initial contract for the Parkway Tree Pruning Program. This is for a neighborhood in the 55th Quincy, Cass and Williams area, as well as Sycamore Run subdivision. The original contract included 5 one-year options to extend. So we were able to negotiate option year pricing at a 3% increase per the following table. And we recommend exercising this option year and awarding a contract to Winkler Services LLC for an amount not to exceed $140,000.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Barry.
Motion made and second. Any comments from anybody? Trustees out? Nope. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
and trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. Moving on to J, Water Rate Tax Amendment. Board to consider an ordinance approving amendments to Chapter 82, Utilities, Article 4 of the Westmont Municipal Code regarding water rates. And we got Assistant Village Manager Parker.
Yeah, I'll just cover a brief overview of this. I'm going to take the first, so this item as well as the next item, kind of cover them together. I'll do a brief overview for the sake of time, but if there's any additional questions, we've got staff, both from Finance and Public Works, who can answer lots of more detailed questions. So I will say this is something that we've been discussing a lot. You know, we've covered it the last couple of board meetings, we've covered it at multiple committee meetings, and it's something that staff's been working a lot with our consultant on. So about a year ago, the board hired a consultant, Raf Tellis, to come take a look at our water revenues because we knew we had postponed some rates during COVID. And of course, the time that we postponed it was a good time, a good thing to do that for the residents, but at the same time, that's when construction costs were skyrocketing. And so what we ended up with at this point was a revenue stream that wasn't sufficient to meet ongoing infrastructure needs. So we had our consultant come in and take a look at it. The consultant came and presented some things, and some back and forth with staff to try to reduce the proposed increases, and then came with a new proposal. And there's a couple of pieces to this. One is a little bit of a change to our rate structure as a whole. So one of the things the consultant recommended was having a fixed fee that was based on the meter size, because that more accurately represents the demand that those users place on the system, and increasing our fixed fee to be a larger percentage to be more in line with best practices in the industry. In addition to that, one of the things that the board had indicated was important to them when they talked about rate design was water conservation, and so part of the new rate structure includes a higher rate for residential usage that's over 16,000 gallons in a bill cycle, which would be roughly 8,000 in a month, and that's less than 10% of our residential users, but those that use that higher water rate, those higher water amounts will pay a higher water rate. And that's what this item J is doing, is basically setting up the new structure for those water rates. And it kind of sets the general structure overall and kind of the long-term plan for how those rates would increase as well. Item K, which we'll get to next, is actually establishing what those water rates are for the next several years based on the recommendations of the consultants. And at least this first year, for all residents other than those 10% that use more water than that 16,000 gallons in a bill cycle, they will see a $2.50 increase per month, so it's $5 per bill cycle increase for the residents. Residents and businesses are able to go onto our website to see more details about exactly how this will impact them if they enter information from their bills. The finance, communications, and public works worked closely with our consultant to put together a lot of information on that website, including an informational video, and do some news releases about that information. So at that point, I'll see if there's any questions. Board?
Well, you need motion, the first motion to approve the water rate text amendment.
So moved, Barry.
Second, Nero.
Motion made and second. Any comments? The one comment is that funds all revenue. So you have to generate money in order to keep the infrastructure where it should be. So, and we held off for what, 3 years? During COVID, we didn't raise rates. So seeing no other questions, I ask for roll call.
Maybe just one last comment,
Yes.
Mayor, we're not alone, and I just want to remind that everybody in DuPage is facing this, so it's, I think we're not in the worst position, and it's something that just isn't unique to Westmont, that's all I want to say.
I think with the survey had us in the middle of the pack.
That's right.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Motion passes. I need a motion establishment of our water rates.
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little.
Motion made and second. Comments? Nobody? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to L, whistleblower text amendment. Board to consider ordinance amending section 2-546 whistleblower reporting policy of the Westmont Municipal Code. And I don't know, Manager May?
Sure. I can cover that, or you can.
Or you guys fight over it.
Sure. So this is an item that came up in connection with some of the grants that we are able to get from the state of Illinois. One of the requirements for one of the grants, and specifically the one that we use for our tobacco grant, that department has a general requirement that grantees have something in their policies about an employee's obligation and responsibility to report waste and abuse. And so we're including that into this section of the whistleblower policy. I will say the whistleblower law doesn't require that we offer those same protections to employees who report waste and abuse that we do to those who report violations of law. But we figured if we're now making that a responsibility of employees to bring that to our attention, we wanted to afford them those same protections. So both of those pieces are added in this text amendment.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Little.
Second, Barry.
Motion made and second. Any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to miscellaneous. I didn't know if,
We got one more.
One more.
did I miss one?
Yeah,
Where?
just a
This
little
one.
item called personnel
Personnel.
code text amendments.
M.
Not used to that many.
Personnel Code text amendments. Board to consider ordinance approving multiple text amendments to Chapter 62 Personnel of the Westmont Code of Ordinance. And our director's at the podium.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. As discussed at this evening's Administration Finance Committee meeting before the Village Board meeting, there have been multiple policy updates this year, both from an administrative and legislative perspective, and this ordinance translates those updates into Chapter 62 of the Code of Ordinances, which relates to personnel. Staff is recommending approval of the ordinance.
I have a motion approved.
Motion to approve, Barry.
Second, Little.
Been made in second. Any additional comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes. Motion passes. Now we'll move on to miscellaneous. I don't know if, did you want to address the board for anything? Good, I mean, not good, but you could now. I mean, good.
No, I basically came from something meeting. I'm sorry I was late for this. I haven't been to one of these meetings here, but I go to, as I said, zoning meetings, and I was concerned about the parcels around the train track section and everything. And also.
Do you want to, you could come up to the podium and just state your name.
I'm just trying to see how this one works as
All right.
compared to the zoning. But I was just concerned about the parcels down by Burlington and everything. And I was just, I know I had heard about the alley behind Linden and everything. It's like you had done, all the brickwork, and now it's going to have to be redone. And I'm just trying to find out some information, that's all, for my own interests.
You're welcome.
Because it's like, if you know you're doing something and then it has to be ripped up, it's going to be ripped up again. It's like, it seems like a waste of resources to me, so that's all. I was just concerned about the parcel and everything, and how much of a mess it's going to create down there if it went through this time, if somebody wanted to build a large housing structure and with traffic and no parking lot, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just concerned about traffic flow and everything, and just how things would work.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you coming and talking to board. No specific plans right now, so.
Yeah, I know, not at the moment, but I was trying to just kind of.
No, you're welcome to come in.
Okay, yeah, I'll try to hit these up more. It's like in the past, I wish I could have made it, but I used to have to be to work at 5 a.m., so this is my bedtime normally. So
Mine too.
It's like there was no way, it used to be. So, okay, thank you very much.
Could you state your name for the record?
My name's Laurel Rugen.
And we love the input, and feel free to reach out to any one of us for any questions or anything.
I live at 513 North Grant. And when I had been at the zoning meeting the other night and I left, someone stopped and asked me, did you get your information and all this? And I had been in, went when they're, because they're building that dispensary at the end of Ogden and Grant. And I had also stated concerns because of Tequila, the bar at the end, that the traffic, everybody with their SUVs, I can't even see to pull out of my driveway. People are leaving garbage in our yards. Somebody's mailbox got creamed the other day. So it's like, I wish I could have attended then to put my input for that. And it's bad enough because people use Grant Street as a cut-through to get around Cass and Ogden. So, and the traffic, and what's going to happen with the marijuana dispensary as well, across from Tequila. So that's all. I'm just concerned,
Well, you're welcome to come here and voice that. We had some residents at the meeting when we talked about the cannabis dispensary, and they commented some of the items too, so.
Yeah, I went to that one, and
Yeah.
because it was like the way they were going to do the traffic flow, and somebody said, just put up a sign, and one of the other board members, she had said, they don't pay attention to that. People fly down the street, somebody was walking their dog with a longer leash, and they ran over the dog. They just go flying down Grant Street, even though there's a school around the corner. It doesn't make a difference. And going to the meetings with the park they're planning to open, the small park on the next block of Grant Street. So it's a concern with a lot of us. There's one gentleman who has one of those safety things, children live in this area. Oops, the little green guy, and he has a little flag. He said, I think I'm going to put a checkered flag in his hand instead, is the way people fly down the street. So I'm just trying to gather information and become a little more involved since I have the time to do it, so.
No, we appreciate you coming, and the chief is taking mental notes now on, I think we're aware of traffic, and he's
It
always
was Larry
watching for it.
Forsberg and I spoke with her out in the hallway after that.
Yes,
meeting.
you're the gentleman, right.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
But thank you very much.
thank you for coming.
Have a good holiday.
You
Same to
too.
you, thank you. Anybody else? Anybody? I guess the last thing is wishing everybody a safe,
Yeah.
you know, Trustee Barry said holiday season, and be careful, be safe. So I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion,
To adjourn, Little?
second, Nero.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Well, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.